here on the range, and we're actually going to compare in a little bit of a shooting test the Gen 5 Koa as well as the Gen 6. I'll be really interested to see if I can tell a difference, so let's give it a go. Hey everyone, Corey here with another episode of the Reserve Podcast. Today we'll be comparing the Glock 19 Gen 5 Koa with the new Glock 19 Gen 6. We're going to discuss it in the studio, and then we're going to take these out to the range and see how they stack up against each other. I'm here with Matt. Thanks for sitting down with us and chatting about the kind of differences between these two.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm a big Glock guy, so I love talking about the new Gen 6. It's sick. So what's pretty cool is these are both range guns.
Okay.
So if you're in Charlotte and you're a member, you can come shoot both of them, which is awesome. But we kind of have like the most recent big innovation from Glock with the Koa. I'm not going to count the V. That kind of was that was just kind of silly and weird. But we have that 19 Koa, and then we have the brand new Gen 6. What I think is most apparent, where they did the most amount of work, is with the grip.
Yes.
So if you feel it in clear gun, no mag, or mag's empty, right? So if you feel it in your hand, it doesn't feel like a Glock. The whole 2x4 thing is totally gone.
Yeah, I mean, you can actually, like, I didn't realize this until actually seeing one in person, but you can actually see sort of this, like, mild, like, palm swell that it has. It's not...
And a little thumb space.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is, I will say, I saw Burke talking about the sort of the old school Vickers edition version of that, and I was kind of very similar. Like, I'm somebody who... especially with Glocks, I really enjoy Glocks, but the grip textures up until this point have not really been very aggressive for me. And I love, even for like carry guns, like very aggressive guns typically. And I've got a bunch of like random little holes in my shirt when I carry just from how aggressive the grips are.
Yep.
But because the reality is, especially like in a very closed environment, it's probably not that big of a deal, but you notice it when you start shooting a lot of classes and you're in the middle of summer and your hands are sweaty.
It's hot here in North
Things
Carolina.
like that. Yeah, like it gets so humid in the summer here. And you realize how much the gun starts moving around, or how just much you have to sort of vice down on it, almost to like an unnatural level that really affects your shooting. So I've always been somebody who likes really aggressive stippling. And I will say, like, this is a like massive improvement. I definitely, I don't know, I still like a little more aggression. But it would be something where for some guns, like, like a Glock 48 or something that I would get, this would be, in a pinch for sure. Like, this is so much better. Like, it's way, way better.
Yeah, I think what's interesting too is I wouldn't call that abrasive.
No.
Right? Like, you could carry that against your belly and appendix, no problem. But it is significantly more grippy than the Gen 5.
Well, and it seems like the pattern's not changed. It just seems like they've sort of
done something else.
Like, I guess the space in between the sort of squares, they've made it deeper. So it's not like it's sharp, but like when you're gripping it, your skin grabs into it a lot more. So I mean, it's definitely, in my opinion, one of the biggest improvements over everything up to the Gen 6.
Okay, so here's the Gen 5. It's a clear firearm. Let me show y'all. Nothing in the chamber, totally empty. Magazine is empty. All of our guns are always double checked for safety beforehand, but this one's totally clear. That one's totally clear. So get a good hold of that one, kind of with your firing grip, and then get a hold of that one.
I'll trade you. Yeah, like, I mean, I'll be honest, especially after grabbing that one, I feel, like, it almost feels like you feel nothing.
Yeah, what about the beaver tail? That is a huge difference.
Yes, because I've actually got a scar just of built up, like, callousness on my hand because I ride these so high. And the slide just will cut so deep into you. So, like, that's a huge improvement because it's not big.
No.
Like, I've always struggled, just me personally, with the sort of the add-on beaver tails, just because they've always been too thick.
Yeah, I've got like little boy hands, so I can't always I can't ever use it.
Yes,
but then people will cut them,
and
then it's like, that's just uncomfortable.
So I think that's a huge improvement, and I think...
And then the palm swells.
Yeah, and the trigger is definitely, I think, a huge improvement. I think one of the first things, any video you ever see of, like, what to do when you get a Glock, or like what's the first upgrade you would make, like, I feel like probably 5% of those are change the plastic sights,
Yeah.
and change the trigger.
Yep.
And this is actually something that honestly I would probably run just out of the box
100%.
without changing, because I'm a huge like sort of flat faced trigger guy
Yep.
when it comes to Glocks.
Yep.
Probably most guns in general. But that I think is a massive improvement
Yep.
over, and it's still going to be something where there's still a great aftermarket selection, because I think a lot of people like the metal, the feel of like some type of metal trigger.
Yeah, it is still polymer. That's a good point.
But I think it is a massive improvement for people who aren't necessarily like some of us that are a little bit more into like the Lego-esque, mixing and matching and like customizing to make it your own.
Yep.
Some people just aren't into that, and they're buying it for vastly different reasons, whether it's just self-defense or the range. And so I think that is a massive improvement just in general for just shootability of them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it seems like a silly thing, but really I agree the flat face trigger makes a big difference just in terms of how I can get my pad on there and how comfortable it is. So ergonomics, they literally feel completely different. This one feels so much better, points so much better, just get such a better feel for the gun. What I also think is cool is with the Koa, they kind of came out with that proprietary mounting system with aim point.
The A-frame, or
whatever they called it. And we were also excited because the Glock, the MOS platform was kind of crappy. You had to have the plate. There was weird things with the plate where they were like...
Yeah, the plates are like cast, so
cast,
they're like bent.
So they break, and then
come
like...
bent.
Or you'd go buy like a $200 one, and it's like, well, what? The gun's $600, so like I'm spending a quarter of it on a plate. So Glock then really took it to the next level with their new optics mounting system. So these are direct mount.
Okay.
But it comes with a bunch of like little spacer plates in there that act as like a crush washer. So it's now direct mount, and you can co-witness, and you're getting rid of all those plates and all that junk right there in the slide, super secure, without having to have something completely proprietary. Like
because I mean, obviously, I would say this was a huge improvement over the MOS, but the only problem is it is cut for basically one type of optic. Yeah. And that's the only thing that can fit. And it's a great, really awesome optic.
Yeah.
But I think that is going to be, on the Gen 6, their new optic system is going to be a massive improvement overall. Pretty much some version of direct milling is always so much better than having to use plates. And there's some awesome plate systems out there.
For sure.
Like I know like the agency AOS is phenomenal.
Staccatos is really good. Bulls is really good.
But it's like I said, anytime you could do something like direct mill or as close to direct mill as possible, it tends to be better because you also get the optic a little bit lower on the slide as well. So you'll see some optic systems kind of really raise the slide up, or raise the optic up over the slide quite a bit.
Yeah, you can co-witness with this one.
Yeah, you'll notice these both are quite a bit lower in the actual slide.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm actually...
So you can co-witness with these oh man, as soon as I get this back in my hand, I'm like, oh, I want the Gen 6 back.
Yeah. Well, I've also noticed, they've got sort of this like thumb rest here, which is like something usually when I get my Glocks stippled, I will have some version of like a thumb rest built into it. So, I mean, this kind of seems like it's going to be a fun gun to shoot pretty much like straight out of the box without really the need, other than, at least for me, like an optic. Throwing an optic on there. This is going to be something I probably could go shoot at the range and not feel the need to do very, very much upgrading. So I'm actually excited to shoot both of these and compare them.
Yeah. So they've made a lot of changes, but let's see if they actually shoot any different.
Let's do it. So now we are on the range, and we are actually going to compare in a little bit of a shooting test the Gen 5 Koa as well as the Gen 6. Now, this is going to be my first time actually getting hands-on and shooting a Gen 6 on the range. So I'll be really interested to see if I can tell a difference between the two and just the kind of little improvements that they've made. So let's give it a go. Okay, not to sound redundant, but it feels like a Glock, right? Now let's go for the Gen 6. let's just look at the target because that was pretty awesome.
Good.
Now, just because I was tracking it, and I also wasn't shooting crazy, crazy slow, I did not miss anything out of the red with the Gen 6. I'm going to factor that up to two things. Probably the grip. I noticed that I was having to hold onto the gun a lot less vigorously. So that kind of made my trigger finger a lot more relaxed, as well as the flat face trigger. And this could just be personal preference, but I just much prefer the way a flat face trigger feels. And you can tell in my shooting because I was still pretty good with the Koa, but I was a little, definitely a little more spread out than with the Gen 6. The Gen 6 was all like dead center in the red. So that just from a shootability standpoint, just off the rip is pretty impressive. Definitely a difference. Now we're going to take these behind the firing line and we'll send the target out all the way to 25 and see how they all shoot at a little bit of distance. So we're going to shoot the Gen 5 first and we're going to send it out to 25 yards. Okay, let's see if I can hit anything. Okay, not super slow. 5 rounds should give us a pretty decent indicator. Okay, so they're all on, but I'm shooting a little low with this one. So let's see what the Gen 6 does. Okay, let's see if it improved. I would definitely say so. I have absolutely no idea what I did there because that's definitely quite high. That could just be maybe where the optic is zeroed at. But if you notice, that is all within a fist range. So if just from a pure accuracy standpoint with my point of aim where I was aiming, that's definitely a much tighter group at 25 yards. But looks like I need to work on my longer distance shooting. So definitely after shooting the Gen 6 for the first time, I actually like this one, so I think I'm just gonna keep shooting it. Yeah, that rocks. I much prefer the Gen 6. I think it kind of spoke for itself. I'd probably say the biggest thing that I liked was the grip and the trigger. They've also got a couple other like little minor features like the undercut for your fingers as well as the beaver tail that lets you get up a little bit higher on the gun. Those are all improvements, but this is probably the best Glock grip and trigger that I've ever felt. So I think we're just gonna keep shooting it. And that's how it's done.
Thanks for watching this episode of the Reserve Podcast. If you like the show, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for new episodes every week and follow us on social media for more great content from Blackstone. We'll see you guys next time.